Good evening, I'm Jeff Lyons. It is Monday night, January the 12th, time for the 14 First Alert Weather Show at 9. Thanks for joining us. Remember, we stream every night at 9 p.m., also every day at 2:30, so you can get those full weathercasts kind of between the stuff we do on TV and our 14 First Alert app. And this is a little different because it's interactive, so I can answer your questions. I'm watching your comments on the 14 News Facebook page, so chime right in if there's something you'd like to talk about or get off your chest, and we'll take care of that in just a little bit. Well, it's kind of a quiet start here this week, and we don't have that severe weather threat hanging over us at any point this week. So much typical of winter, much more typical. It's going to be clear overnight. Lows will drop down into the lower 30s. For Tuesday, we have much milder air moving in. Some of you might see 60 degrees tomorrow afternoon. We have sunshine for the first half of the day, and then clouds and some rain moving in during the night. And that will signal then an end to the mild temps, and it's going to get a lot cooler to finish out the week. So here's the rain, at least as it looks on the models tonight, and this is tomorrow night at about 10. I think by this time tomorrow we'll likely have some rain up here to show you on the radar up over Illinois. Those showers then move on through basically during the overnight hours. So if you're lucky, you'll sleep through it. The ground will be a little wet in the morning, but there won't be really any sign of rain at that point. Most of the showers will have exited there to the south and east. Behind it then, the winds turn to the northwest, so it's going to get a lot cooler out there, and lows will drop back down into the teens before the week is out. The total rainfall projection here, at least on our models, generally around 1/10 of an inch in areas that do get the rain. And more importantly, though, is it's going to cool down a big bunch of degrees. So tomorrow up to 57. Thursday will be the coldest day during the work week, as we only get up to 30, drop down to 18 there Thursday morning, and then by Friday, right around 40, 41, which would be normal for this time of the year. But another surge of cold air and maybe some snow will move in Friday to push the temperature back down one more time. And this is what that looks like, the snow portion of it. It looks like a clipper, meaning a fast-moving system without a lot of moisture to work with. Moving through here late Thursday and early Friday morning. I'm not expecting snow accumulation with that one, at least not based on anything I've looked at today. We may have some continuing snow showers there through Saturday as that energy ripples through. And then winds shift back around to the north, or to the south rather, blowing to the north, and we will get milder temps next week. We're at 41 out there right now, not a bad evening. We were down to 22 this morning. It was pretty cold out there if you were up early, but we did get back up to 49 this afternoon. So in looking at those temps, we are warmer, definitely, by a long shot than we were yesterday at this time, by about 16 degrees. Our low this morning was actually about 4 degrees cooler than normal, and the high this afternoon was about 8 degrees above normal. So we kind of have one of those inside-outside days where we push the low lower and the high higher, if that makes sense. Only to me, probably. 49 is now the warmest day of the year so far. And like I said, I'm sorry, I take that back. We had 60s last week, for Pete's sake. The warmest day this week so far. And of course, no rain. We had plenty of it Thursday night and Friday. So that's put us in pretty good shape now for January, with a surplus of about 1/3 of an inch of rain. January tends to be a wet month, oftentimes with some snow in there too. We're not really at that critical stage for the growing season yet, but any rain that we get now will percolate down and kind of recharge, or at least store in the soil. So it's better to have some rain in January when most people aren't getting out and doing much anyway. Although with these warm temps, many of you I think have been out. I've been out working in the yard trying to get stuff tidied up out there since it's mild. For tomorrow, the commute forecast, we have sunny in the morning with increasing clouds in the afternoon. That is a quiet weather map. There's not much happening anywhere in the lower 48. We have a few showers down over Texas, but other than that, really just a ho-hum kind of map. Now our cold front that will dive in out of Canada on Tuesday, tomorrow, will kick up some clouds, and those will arrive first. Then the rain moves in after that and moves along and ahead of the cold front as it then allows the colder air to cycle in behind it. And that high pressure will dip down here into southern Missouri. That's actually our clipper that will come through late Thursday night and maybe bring us some more snow showers or flakes. And that shows up both in the GFS model, which I'm showing you now, for early Friday morning, and it also shows up in the European, which we'll look at here in a moment. But that's really our last shot at any kind of precip, at least into the first half of next week. The European model also advertising that rain early tomorrow, or early Wednesday morning, then partly cloudy Thursday, and that chance of snow early Friday before we dry out over the weekend. So there's at least some general agreement with two of the long-range models that we use. So that's good. Gives us some confidence that we will maybe see a few flakes on Friday. For tonight, we should drop down to about 33 degrees, so not as cold as it was this morning. Then tomorrow we get up to 57, well above the average, about 15, 16 degrees warmer than typical, with that rain moving in after sunset tomorrow night. Over the next 7 days then, we have a colder weekend with high temps below freezing Saturday and Sunday, and then bouncing back into the mid-30s by early next week, and some cold lows too, down in the low to middle teens in there. This is the longer range outlook for temperatures up through the 28th of January, and we've kind of put aside those warmer than normal days like we had last week. We're looking at near normal, or maybe even cooler than normal from the 20th to the 28th. Or 26th rather, and then wetter than normal too. So maybe another couple rounds of rain moving in. Our pet pick tonight, good old Snickers here, watching me on TV. At least I got cats watching me on TV. We are always looking for an audience wherever we can find it out there. So let me see if you all have questions here. And let me go back around here. There we are. All right, let's see here. Oh, we got a bunch of you commenting in. That's good. Let's see. Jeff Miller says, good evening from out there in Savaw. Hey, Jeff. How you doing? All right, let's see. Emma Rowland's on there. Janet Stapleton. Ricky Brown. All familiar names there. Shelley Almond's on too. Cheyenne Hammonds. Good evening, good evening. Sure was cold today. Now, Suzanne, it was nice out. It was cold this morning, but it was kind of nice this afternoon. I mean, even I wore a sweatshirt outside to take my walk this morning. No winter coat for me. I think we'll see a lot of snow this winter. Shauna Lacefield. Well, if the first week here is any indication, then no. But I think it's pretty early to pass judgment on whether we will see a lot of snow this season or not. I have a feeling in my bones, and I don't know what it is. It's not based on any models or anything. I think we're going to get socked sometime late, either January, early February. I think we're going to have a doozy. I just feel that, and I don't want to create a panic. I mean, this is a little more intimate. I wouldn't say that on TV. It's just between us on here. But you ever get that feeling? It's just like, yeah, I think we're gonna get some snow. Of course, I also think we're gonna have an earthquake all the time, and we never do. So take it with a grain of salt. Although some people felt an earthquake. I think it was Thursday or Friday last week. I think we had a little tremor in the tri-state. Let's see. Oh, we got Laura Gray in Dawson Springs. All right. Well, good. I'm glad we got Hopkins County represented there. So thanks, Amy Hilliard, for your Snickers, the entertaining cat there. I'm going to talk about two things here in Science Corner that you're going to hear a lot about, or are hearing a lot about, with regard to the West Coast. And that is, of course, atmospheric river, which we've covered here many times, and Santa Ana winds. Both of them, and they're kind of polar opposites in the impact they have on disruptive weather, especially in Southern California and the West Coast. As we've talked about and seen here with the flooding in California, these atmospheric river events can really be bad. Now, the radar right now is quiet here. I just wanted to establish we're not looking at a current situation out there. And as we've talked about many times here on the Weather Show, that atmospheric river basically puts a concentrated, almost like a conveyor belt of moisture off the Pacific Ocean, and it rams it into the coast. And as you know, we have a big mountain range out there, the Rockies. And so that moist air is forced aloft. And one really interesting thing about the atmosphere is when you push air up, you're going to cause condensation because it is colder up there. So the water droplets sort of come together and form a cloud. And in this case, they do it very quickly because it is a forced kind of lift, or what we call orographic lifting over the topography out there. And so you get rain, and if the rain happens to fall on the lee side of the mountains, you're going to get flooding and mudslides and all those problems. If the water continues on up, then you get snow at the higher elevations, and that snow then is often a boon to the ski resorts up in the higher elevations, and it also provides drinking water. So once you get the snow, it's kind of like water in the bank for the dry months. Speaking of dry months, we're going to talk about a dry hot wind, the Santa Ana winds, and that's another common feature in the Southwest this time of the year. Why do I mention this? Because it can cause fires. Now, given the floods a couple weeks ago, maybe not so much this season, but in a typical year, those Santa Anas really pick up in intensity. And the wind is, in this case, it's kind of the reverse of the orographic lifting. Instead, we have compression as the air moves down. Remember, the atmosphere is denser as you get closer to the ground, thinner as you go up. And so what happens is this air comes racing over the mountains and down through, and it heats up because it's being compressed. Think of if you ever pump up a bicycle tire, with the pump, and you're compressing air, that gets hot down there. Any air compressor gets hot where at the point of compression. Well, the same thing happens with this air, and it gets hot and very dry, and it fans through vegetation. And if a fire starts, it tends to fan the flames and make it exponentially worse. And the geography of Southern California is perfect for focusing this hot, dry wind right into a heavily, heavily populated area. Typically, that air heats up over in the desert, in the Mojave Desert, and then it comes through the passes and over the hills there and moves in. And when that happens, of course, then we get fires and all kinds of calamities in California. All right, let's see if we have more questions. Emma Rowland said I think she says she gets the same way. I bet you have that feeling we're going to get some snow. Now, Jeff Miller is already heading out for bread and milk. Well, he's the original Frady cat here in the streaming show. I thought you were like, you had a full, compound out there with dairy cows and a bakery and everything. I got to get out there. I should do an out and about in Savaw. That's what I need to do. You can, as unofficial mayor of Savaw, you can take me around and show me the sights. Maybe we'll set that up sometime. I'll come out to Posey County and do that. I don't know if you all are watching Out and About, but I've been doing these features once a week, just going out to different places and seeing what's what. And it's been a lot of fun, and I hope you enjoy watching those. I might start putting those on here occasionally. I've shown some with the Weather Service, but these are, a little different from that. I was at a shoe repair a couple weeks ago, and we went inside the pipe organ down at First Presbyterian Church in this week's. So lots of different kinds of things. Some of you might remember way long ago, although, if you're of an age, and I'm assuming we're all kind of an age, you might remember Hal Wolford over on 25. Or here you would remember Alan Toomey. And before that, Len Wells was the 14 Country Traveler. And so we've always had, and not always, but we've had several folks in the market here that have done kind of backroads feature-y kind of things. And I love that stuff. And so last fall, I asked if I could do that. I said, I'll do it in exchange for getting off nights a few nights a week. So that's why you don't see me Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday nights anymore, is because I'm out, shooting stories and that. But it's been a lot of fun. So if you have a good idea, you can send it to me. Paula Schaefer saw the Oregon one. Billy Johnson remembers the back roads. Yep. And earlier here it was Len Wells was the 14 Country Traveler. Len is a story in and of himself. Maybe we'll work him in too. Are there any more questions or comments here before I let you get back with your evening? We'll have to see here. Anybody else has a question? I doubt it, you know, with the weather being so nice and everything. But anyhow, yeah. Laura Gray remembers Alan Toomey. Yeah, Alan left here, I think, in about 2000, 2001, something like that. And just did outstanding work. He was really, really a master of his craft. And it was a shame to see him leave. He went back, he actually had more connection in the south of New Orleans and Baton Rouge and that area. So he went back down to be with his son. And unfortunately, we lost Alan. He passed away a few years back, but he did an outstanding library legacy of work. So this kind of picks up where that left off in a kind of a pale sort of way. I'm learning, but you know, it takes some time to really get it down. Anyway, that's all I have for you on the 14 First Alert Weather Show tonight at 9 o'clock. I will see you over on 14 News at 10. In the meantime, thanks for watching. Stay safe. We'll see you at 10 o'clock.